Good evening. My name is Marshai Salu, Visual Information Specialist for the Montgomery County Council. The Council is working hard to provide all residents valuable information related to COVID-19 in multiple languages to assure everyone has equal access to the information they need. In today's segment, I'm speaking with Ms. Remi Duyile about the effects of COVID-19 on finances, businesses, and real estate. Remi is a financial veteran, an entrepreneur, and a community leader, among other things. Thanks for being with us today, Remi.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. And thanks for all the great work you're doing too and the county is doing.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's get started with, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and the different projects you've been involved in and your organization has been involved in related to COVID-19 in order to inform and, help the community?
Sure, thank you so much. I am a mother, a wife, and a business professional and a community leader who pride myself in ensuring that we engage our community so that we can be relevant and take advantage of opportunities that are there for the betterment of our lives and the neighbors that we live next to. So that's who I am, a serial entrepreneur and formerly a vice president with Bank of America for 17 years. Those were my younger days. And that was where all the strength, the muzzle with, and the excitement about getting involved in the community was born, because I was always involved representing the bank in one shape or the other. And that has become what I do all day long now. So that's who I am, a professional entrepreneur and a proud mother, most importantly.
Okay, thank you. Can you share a little bit with us about, I know you've been involved in a lot of, you've been organizing a lot of projects, involved in a lot of projects related to COVID-19 to, bring awareness to the public, to the community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. COVID-19, like we would say on some of our shows and our programs, is that it's something that came surprisingly to everyone. It's that one coronavirus is a common enemy to everybody. So for once in a lifetime in the world, the whole world shut down. So we are all resetting. So having said that, I use that to paint a picture of the fact that it's not affecting just an individual person. It's all of us. So if we come together and inform ourselves to understand what is going on and listen to the leaders who know what they're talking about, guiding us, and we follow the instructions, it won't be as bad as it needs to be, because we know we need a cure for it. I won't be the one that will cure it because I'm not medically inclined, but what I know I'm doing. And some of us that are medically inclined are busy doing that. So COVID-19 has really allowed everybody to come together for once in the home. We've been quarantined for over 7 weeks, going to 8 weeks now. And we have all gotten to a point that we're rebounding now. So I tell people, be informed about what's going on. It's an ailment that doesn't have a cure yet, but there are people working tirelessly night and day to find it. So what you and I can do, and all of our listeners, is not to worry, is to follow the instruction, wear your mask, wash your hand, social distancing, follow the instructions, and prayerfully to pray that nothing would come near us. But worrying is not going to cut it. So what we've been doing with Legacy Premier Foundation is informing people physically. In a way, when I say physical, I see this physical. Now, Zoom is the new physical, right? Just letting people know what they need to do and why what is happening is not just them. So there's no need to worry about how to do what you can control. Just do you. What can you do now? What are you going to do the reset time? What are you going to use the reset time to do? Are you going to use it to find solutions to things that maybe were problems that you found the answers to now? You've been home with your kid for 8 weeks or thereabout. You haven't had any fights. There hasn't been any major catastrophe. So that means you've done something well. So we've been informing people to just embrace the new now and to see how can they make the post-COVID-19 even a bang.
Okay. And can you share with us where people can find these, tools or informations that you've been putting out?
Right. We have been, thank you so much. We have been putting a whole lot of information out because I know that not all of us have the time to go out and do some physical things or be part of it. But we've been putting information out through our Instagram. We've been doing a lot of social media in a very positive and attractive way. We've been going on Instagram Live weekly, Facebook Live, doing things and informing people about different topics. What can you do in the moment? What right now is right now. What can you do about it? So rather than worrying about who did what and who didn't, we've been shielding people from getting that negative vibes, but instead to look within and see what can they bring to make the situation better, not just for them, but for the whole world. So that's what we've been doing. You go to Instagram Live, you go to my LinkedIn page and Facebook page. We've been doing a whole lot of that. And we've been doing a lot of training, a lot of Zoom calls and Zoom trainings. Zoom has been the next office for us. So we have been engaging, not even just locally, globally, sharing our platform so all of us can know that this is a good time to make those right connections for development.
Yeah, that's true. And what topics have you been tackling on these platforms?
Being a former banker, I always say, once a banker, never dies in your heart. 17 years of my prime years were in banking, very versatile, energetic, just even better than I am now. I'm older, but I still feel a lot of energy. But even then, you can imagine. So that was all I lived. And I saw how the underserved lost out on a whole lot of things just by not getting information. So what I've done, what I've prided myself in is having a way to create information so that people can use the resources that is out there for them. So we have been very heavy, toughy on the financial piece. And when I say financial piece, I'm saying that we're being told, oh, you don't have to pay your mortgage for the next 3 months. You're still going to have to pay it eventually. So how do you continue to build within what you have? Number one, assess what debts do you have right now? And what debts need to go away? And what debts won't go away even after COVID-19, even if your own income has gone away? So we have been helping people to look into what they have. What do other people have? What are the other resources that the government, the philanthropic organizations, the big corporations have put outside? Because the big corporations have great things that they have, grants and so forth for people. But if we do not know those information, number one, if we know and we don't act and we don't know what to do. So we have been creating that platform so people won't feel like, oh, I don't know. We don't know everything, but making ourselves, Legacy Premier Foundation and our team has made ourselves as a resource to be able to have people who may be shy, if you will, who want to talk more about, by the way, I heard about this. How do we go about it? So we provided that because I know the importance of that, being a professional financial person, that we have to get our finances in order. And you still have to rebound to make sure that you are able to tap into opportunities that people will give. And the C's of credit never changes. People expect you to have the capital, the capacity, the credibility, and all of those things have to be in place for you to be able to get a loan, even when the loans are being extended for people. They're not going to come with just, oh, I like you, take a loan. There's a process. So just letting people know that that process will stay. How do we make sure we perfect ourselves and stay within those great requirements so that we don't miss out on the opportunities when they are presented to us? Because opportunities can be presented, but if you don't fit into the status quo, if you don't fit into the criteria, lending is not emotional. It's based on criteria. And if you don't have the criteria, I mean, you just don't have it. There's nothing anybody can do about it. So what we've been telling people is to build, to ensure that they're being credible. If they cannot pay their bills now, to pick up the phone, call their creditors, tell them what's going on, let them make arrangement. Maybe they can defer the payment, they can restructure it, but not just to be quiet and say, oh, they know it's COVID-19. No, nobody reads minds. People need to know what you need. So picking up the phone, and I've helped a few people make those calls and just have a conversation and tell them they're expecting the calls. But if you don't make it, they're not going to know. So they're going to think when they're calling you, trying to chase you around, that maybe you're dodging. Right now, they're giving us a breather. This is 90 days. But hey, life is still going to continue. Why don't you do it the proper way? Reach out even to your utility companies. Reach out to them. Let them know. Don't get the bill and shrink and worry. That's what I've been getting, a whole lot of things. People get things, they get worried, and worry is not good for any health. We're already at a health awareness risk. So right now is not the time to add more worries. So that's what we've been out there trying to make sure that people understand how they need to also build themselves while we're waiting for the cure of coronavirus to be here.
Yeah. And can you share the handles or the web links to where people can access this information?
Oh, sure. Yes. Again, it's at RemiDuyile is our Instagram handle. And of course, for LinkedIn, it's my first name and my last name, Remi Duyile LinkedIn. And for the Facebook page, it's Remi Speaks. We have a group there where we bring information and we go live to share, especially IG Live. If you're hearing and you want to be on our show, we're very open. We've brought different people to tell us what can we be doing during this trying times, because businesses are still being consummated. People are still cutting deals. So we just have to figure out how can we be amongst those that won't be worrying too much and not be able to build and be ready for when they set us loose again to get back to work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. So among the many hats that you wear, like you mentioned, a financial planner is one of them. And, having worked at a bank for a long time as well, you're very equipped in that area. So what would you say are the top strategies that small businesses and medium businesses should implement to survive now and to also bounce back post-COVID-19?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. The first thing I would say, because I'm a small business too, the first thing I would say is identify your outstanding obligations. What obligations do you have that must stay? And don't add new obligations unless it's a must have. Because when you assess where you are, it's easy to raise your hand and ask for help. And when you do that, you will know, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have to pay on. Then that guides you. So you want to go back to the drawing board. If you've been an organization that's not, that hasn't had the telework facilities and ability for people to work remotely, find out, can you automate some of your work as a small business? Maybe it's just a matter of getting a laptop to your one single employee, so they have a laptop and they can connect, and you can find a way to have a remote access to work that you do. So right there and then, you don't worry about, you have an uninterrupted service through that. Can you imagine if we didn't have functionality with some of those companies who have said you could telework? There would have been no way we could all swing into work. I teach online. We didn't have that before. So all of these functionalities are already there. So as a small business, I would say, you know what, find out how can you automate. And there are probably companies that will give you a break just by being a small business. Don't think that, oh, it's within your reach. Ask. Maybe somebody can better what they know with what you have to make you automated. That's what I would say. And reduce your overhead. I was speaking to a friend about 3 weeks ago, an engineering firm, and he said to me, Remi, we're more productive now with less manpower than before. And I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to get rid of everybody? He said, no, it's just ironical that you see that the efficiency and the production is much greater with fewer people. So that, again, what can you do that would not make you as a small business? What are the creative ways you can serve your client? It might be simple, not maybe breaking the bank. It's simple, but it makes their lives easier. Find how to do that. Expand on your healthy network. Your healthy network. When I say healthy, they are healthy and they're on healthy network, meaning network. The people, your network will determine your net worth. So enhance the healthy ones, those ones that you know where you will get good information that will help you to help other people and help your business, versus where you're just going to be hearing the bad news and everything that's not possible is what you're going to hear. If you're in that network of people who are always having doom messages, run away from them. You don't need that right now because you have enough to worry. You have built a passion, you've birthed a business, so you are trying to make it work. So you're not going to be listening to people who have that impossibility mindset. So making sure that you have that healthy mind network, and that healthy network is going to help you a whole lot, because that's where you're going to hear the information, whether be it about the grants, about the loans, about who is doing what, where you need to be, and just stay plugged in. And also be ready to give back more than ever. Be ready to give back. There's always something that you can give. And as you're giving, that's when you will be noticed. And you feel good about the giving. Once you let go, something else will come with it, because they will see what you're doing. I remember when I was in corporate America, I had to digress a little, because I know it works. I've used it everywhere and it works. I used to volunteer a lot on weekends when they're looking for someone to go to a church to open an account. Weekends are usually not funny for people to go do work. But for me, that's when I made my goals. I will go out on a Sunday after church, leave my children home with my husband, go and do outreach to the churches. And by the time I finish, I get my account open. I've met my goals for the week at the branch. So now not only am I meeting my goals, I'm also connecting with decision maker, with community leaders who made me to be able to step into the community when I had left the bank. They still see me as one of them. So if you are a small business, this is the time. Don't worry about what you have lost. I know it's hard, and I can say don't worry about what you have lost. As a mortgage broker, I had a business that I built in the millions went to zero during the meltdown. I didn't know the economy had tanked. So I thought I was young, I can rebuild. So I went into my 401k trying to stabilize my business, and I didn't know it was an economic downturn during the mortgage crisis. So I know but constantly giving would allow you to find yourself and to connect. And that one break is what you need. That one break will help you. And craft your elevator speech as a small business. What do you sell? What are you about? Don't be all over the place. Crystallize it right now than ever. So when you're making those LinkedIn connections and all those great connections, they say, oh, by the way, Remi, what do you do? Get it out. Don't be going all around the place. And for that, that's going to open doors, because doors are opening right now. So small businesses should not feel like they're disadvantaged. I know it's hard to be dwelling on what you have lost, but it's gone. There's nothing we can do, but we can look to a better future and work at a better future by doing it, not just talking about it, but just doing it, little steps here and there. I'm not saying it's going to be easy to forget that, oh, now my restaurant that was bringing millions now can only bring 1,000. I know it's tough. It hurts. But at least one should be thankful that there's still that structure there, and that one is still healthy enough to be able to even think of how can you get it better. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that whatever anyone have suffered is not a big deal. It is. It's a big deal when you work hard and everything just goes. But guess what? We're still alive. There are lives that are no longer here who have served and gone. And we're just saying this not to mimic them, but to be appreciative of the fact that we are still privileged to be alive, and not to worry about all of the other things that maybe is hovering over us. And have a heart of service and give back. When you do that, a lot of ideas will come to you that you would just not be having room to contain. That will be a blessing, and everybody is looking for a solution. Why don't you position yourself as a small business to be that solution provider?
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Remi. So like every major industry, the real estate industry has been hit really hard by COVID-19. And so what should we expect? What would you say we should expect post COVID-19, like in the real estate industry? And what should we start thinking about now and doing now?
Great. And that's in my lane so much, because I was a broker for over 5 years. I'm married to a real estate agent who has been a real estate agent for 20 something years. So that question, and nieces and nephews who are in that real estate space. So it's a family space for us. But I beg to differ that the real estate market is still going to be historically the best way to go. Number one, the interest rates are at the historical low, even though people say, oh, it's gone to 3.75. When we bought a house, it was almost 2 digits. I mean, almost 14%. What is 3%? What is 4%? So for those who can pride in their credit and make sure they are credit worthy, and they have the income, and they also have a need to get a home, I would say it's not stopping. The phones are still ringing. People still want to be able to know how can they qualify. So work on your credit. That's what I was saying earlier. Do not let this COVID saga get you away from your responsibility. If you have an issue, talk to your creditor so that it doesn't go against you. I don't think anything is going against anyone right now, but it's not going to be like this forever. So get into that habit of paying your bills on time, and knowing that if you are ready for that house, there are people who would buy and sell. Commercial, the rates are historically low, and people know that if they need real estate, they need real estate. You just have to have the demand, have the availability of it. So we should not be afraid is what I'm saying. So post-COVID, people are still trying to see if they can go look at houses, and they want to get a house. They are getting pre-qualified through their lenders and all of those stuff. So it's not changing. So don't look at it as what you're feeling right now. Look at it from the perspective that if you have the income, if you have the credit, and you're renting now, are you going to say, oh, I'm not going to get a place? No, you will take it, but get what you can afford. And that's where the qualification comes. Don't go and get what you cannot afford. You never should do that. So get what you can afford and let the equity grow with you. So I don't see COVID-19 as a stopper for real estate personally. And from my professional knowledge, I don't see that as a showstopper. What I see as a showstopper is if we now hide under COVID-19 and we let our credit be messed up, then when we are told to be free and there's no break for us, then we might have issues. We might not have lenders who want us. And at that point, we're going to be stuck with renting. And that means rent might be higher than what it is. So let's think beyond what is happening now. Let's think about how can we rebound? The whole world has been reset. So what can you and I do differently that we were not doing, that will provide solution to someone? Look at the creative ways you are doing what you're doing now. You didn't have to go this extra mile to do what you're doing. You could have waited and said, oh, we will wait till we're back to work and leave us half an hour. But everybody is just diving in and creating ways to have conversations. So other people who are still on the bench can get up and know that, you know what, we need to move and just be thankful that we're alive and take advantage of every day that we breathe and do what we need to do to inspire other people so they can live on, especially our younger generation who are always full of energy. We cannot let them bogged down and worried. They won't let you anyways. They are firebrand. They go and do what they need to do. So that's what I would say. Real estate, I would say if you qualify, there's still loans out there.
Okay. Sure, that's helpful. Thank you, Remi, for that. And can you briefly share with us some real-time practical methods that one can apply during the COVID-19 crisis or just crisis in general, specifically on how to manage emotion, our emotions and our finances during a crisis situation?
Sure. One of my favorite words and one of my favorite things that I always tell people that I learned when I was in corporate America was emotional intelligence. As a young professional, I had a boss who was so fired up and saw that I could do so much. So during my review, he would go, oh, read a book on Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence. That was the first time I heard that word. And I didn't know what it meant. And I'm so glad I heard that word. That book has been next to my Bible. It has been a book that has set me free. And it's just about what you just said.
I just got the book, actually.
Oh, really? So during my review, he went up and said, oh, Remi, you need to get a book called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. And I'm thinking, why did he say? I thought maybe I wasn't crying in my review. I didn't do anything. So I took it personal, why did he tell me to do that? But what I did was, as young, as vibrant, I said, okay, I want to get the book. Eventually, I thought he said Coleman, but it was Goleman. So what ended up happening, I couldn't get it. So I came back and told him. So he gave me the book. Goleman, Daniel Goleman is the one. You manage other people's emotions, and you first have to be able to manage yours. It's so important right now that our mindset, that's one of the series we've talked about in our IG Live series. Your mindset, oh my God, the power of your mindset right now is bigger than anything, is bigger than any bank account right now, because your mindset has to be large enough to fathom the possibilities that lie ahead when you haven't even learned the first step. And it takes you knowing, where are you now? What is happening around us? Some days you turn on the news, it's very frightening. So stay away from the news daily. Maybe find a way to just know what's important. Get away from that. Then as employers, it's important that we connect with our employees, because everyone is dealing with this emotion differently. Some people have lost family members, they've lost co-workers, some have people who are ill. So people are going through so many emotions in their head. So we as a leader, we have to be able to get to that core of that individual employee, so that we're not just about, oh, this is the goal, this is that. Let's bring our emotions into this. That would propel them to do more. So right now is the time as individuals to understand that the way we position our mindset, I understand that COVID-19 is here. It came, nobody knew it was coming. You didn't ask for it, I didn't ask for it, we didn't see it coming. And no finger pointing would do it. We just need to find solution to it. So what we need to be able to do is, how do we manage our emotions? How do we empathize with people? You don't have to agree with everything somebody says. How do we have that active listening ears when someone, like right now I'm talking to you, you're making eye contact. When somebody's giving you, all someone wants to do sometimes is just to hear you, listen to them. Validate the listening. They don't need you to solve all their problems, because they don't even know what all the problems are. So being able to understand that we will be active listeners, we would also empathize with people and also manage our own emotions. We might be going very low. We should not carry it on our faces. Everybody is having issues, and to learn how to respect one another more than ever, because there's a sensitive energy in the air. So when you bring yourself with when you respect people and you command respect yourself, then everybody meets each other halfway. You won't always get your way, but be able to validate someone, respect them, let them know that they have the right to their emotions. Your emotions might be strong that you don't break down. Mine might be the one that I break down before somebody says something. That doesn't make me weak as a person. It just means that the way I express my emotion is different. So we have to understand how to deal with one another right now, because so many things have happened to people differently. Some people won't say what has happened. You just see them active. But until you try to connect and let them know you feel them, and you ask, is there something I can help you with? Don't wait. Practice that compassion engagement, the intensive compassion. Don't say, oh, they didn't call me. If you know you can help with something and you're aware of it, go ahead and help. It doesn't matter. This is the time to do more good than ever. It doesn't matter. You're going to say, Remi, we're all losing our jobs, no money. How can we do good? Yes, we have to do good, because we have to help each other and our community and our neighbors to be able to rebound. And it could be as simple as checking on them. We have neighbors who have children. I mean, mine are grown. Maybe finding out, oh, by the way, how are you coping with James? You know, I hope everybody is fine. They're not looking for you to feed James, but you just reaching out and checking up on them. If they're elderly people, find out how you doing. Everything okay? Can I help you with something? Most of the time, all you get is oh, no, thank you. But that thought goes a long way, because you and I don't have to do that. And that's what I believe that has helped me to stay engaged, because it doesn't hurt to ask. And if they say, yes, help me, if you can't help them, maybe you can drive them to the grocery store. They can give you the list and you help them. We have to help. We just have to right now be our brothers and sisters keepers. That's the only way we will have our own peace. Gone are those days that you think you're an island. Nobody is an island. Find who will be part of your own tree, because a tree does not make a forest. Find who are the trees that you like, that you can attract, that will help you and I to be able to make that impact that we are created to make.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, and for the privilege of your time today, for coming on to share your experiences and your expertise and motivation, all of that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the honor. I appreciate the platform. I thank you for thinking about us. It's a privilege to be called upon, and thank you. And thanks for all that you do, all that your county does, and everybody. I mean, it's just a great and refreshing to see different people having creative platforms to get their voices out so that together we can rebound and reset for a greater tomorrow after COVID-19. Thank you so much.
I like that, rebound and reset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So I hope that you enjoyed my discussion with Remi. If you have any questions, feel free to write it down in the comments section of our Facebook page. Thank you for watching and have a great evening.